Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show and the Neo Show today. So glad you're here. The Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Today we have my good friend Martina Waidhas back with us. Waidhas? Oh, sorry.
That's pretty good.
Back with us. And today we're talking about pets, animals, our favorite, and, how to build a strong soul bond with your animal, with your pet. And so part of what we're going to talk about today is, how to support your pet to have a long life, how to help your pet to be less anxious, how your pet understands you, so your communication, right? And your pet has a purpose in this life. Do you know what it is? And how you can begin to hear what your pet needs. And I think for me, that's the biggest thing. It's like, oh, what does Neo need? It's like, I just want him to be happy and healthy and fine and, joyful. So we're going to talk about all of that and so much more, of course. And if you don't know Martina, she has been on our show last year. She was here, and she is a alternative health practitioner, a medical intuitive, healer, and communicator who works with both humans and animals to facilitate healing in the body, mind, and soul. She has studied a wide range of healing practices, including epigenetics, quantum healing, energy psychology, spinal column and joint therapy, and has achieved a master level in both Reiki and the NIS, Neurological Integration System Therapy. And as a former chef, Martina is passionate about the link between food and illness and brings a holistic approach to her work that is second to none. And her unique combination of skills gives her an insight and range of healing practices that allow her to tailor her treatments to suit each individual client, whether they are human or animal. So Martina, welcome back to the show.
Hello, Alara. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be with you on the show today and with your beautiful audience. Yeah, interesting topic today, and I can't wait to share with all of you.
Yeah, I mean, like when you brought up this topic, you were talking about how at this time right now with COVID and people at home and stressed out, the animals are also or can be, be affected by it as well, right? So I want to talk about that as well. We're going to be taking live caller questions, right? And yes. We'll see where we go. So let's talk first, just really quickly about, I'm not into the whole conspiracy thing at all. I don't want to get into that, but I want to talk a little bit about how this situation last year, this year, feel like forever, has been affecting our pets too. So because they are for me, very, very precious, and I want to take care of them as much as I take care of myself.
Definitely, and they are sensing when we are stressed and we are in fear, so they try to support us. And what I noticed is that a lot of people, when they had been homebound and in quarantine and lockdown, they went to the shelter getting animals, and I was a bit really scared about that situation because some of them really got the dogs in order to be able to leave the house, to go out for walks. And they had no idea, no clue about how to deal with an animal, how to really build a bond with them. They just used them as an excuse. And I also saw the picture, what will happen when they have to go back to work. So will they just be surrendered again at the shelter? Did people think clearly?
Right.
But then it's also a fact that all these animals did commit to exactly that. So when an animal joins your home, your house, even your heart, it's not by coincidence. I mean, we have those soul contracts and they exist for ages already. And no animal just crosses your path by mistake. They all show up. And even if you believe you did choose the puppy or the dog in the shelter or the little kitten or the horse, no. Somehow you were guided and you ended up having exactly the animal that you needed. And that may sound weird, but they are our greatest teachers.
I mean, can I just say really quickly, that is exactly what happened with me. I, in 2018, in May, June time, I was having a really tough time, I was like suicidal and all that stuff. And I asked God, I said, please send me someone to help me, send me someone to help me. And then a few months later, it was just like, one day I told my husband, I said, oh my God, I'm here in this country because of you. I left my family, my friends, everybody behind to be with you. Why? I just want, I want to have a puppy so that somebody's home with me to keep me company. It's like I'm alone all the time. Blah, blah. Great story, right? And he's like, all right, fine, let's go to the shelter. And he was thinking, we're going to go to the shelter and there's going to be all big dogs there. And, we're not going to get a big dog because we were in a small apartment, right? We went to the shelter. They hadn't even put Neo's information on the website yet, and they we just saw the pictures, like, okay, yeah, we'll take a look at him, right? And he came running into the little courtyard, and my husband started crying. He just, the tears all over his face, and I'm like, yeah, we'll take him, So, but for me, it was like it's like I spoke to the universe and I said, I need help, I need somebody, I need something. And then he was born in June and we got him in November. So, for me, that was, we were divinely guided, and he's a gift as far as I'm concerned from God, definitely a gift. And he's such a good boy. I just love him so much,
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
it wasn't a coincidence that
No.
it happened that way.
And it matches exactly what happened to me. I'll just quickly share the last event that happened when we got Ella. So our Louis, also a Shar-Pei, he passed away in October 2019. And after the first shock was gone, we started to look around for maybe a rescue in the shelters. But I always was sure I wanted some Shar-Pei again, because when you once had a Shar-Pei, you will always end up having Shar-Peis. And then I came across a photo on Facebook, and it was a puppy, very, very young puppy at that time. And I immediately knew that was our puppy. So I reached out to the breeder, and it was a very small breeder. She just started doing that, from Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to her, and then she came up with everything where you normally say, don't do that, don't do that. No contract, upfront payment through Western Union, and all these crazy things. And you only saw pictures from this one dog, not from the parents, nothing. And my alarm bells from the 3D world came up like, no, don't do that, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was this inner voice, but this is your puppy. Why don't you just go for it?
Yeah.
And it was way cheaper than normally Shar-Pei puppies are. And all was strange, but then I thought, well, just go for it. And I did it, and it turns out it's the most beautiful dog. It's the most beautiful breeder. It's just not what we thought it should look like in the 3D world, German, Austrian world, with contracts and everything
Mm-hmm.
put on paper with 5 signatures. And so it was really following my intuition. And that was the lesson behind that. Even if the outside is completely not what we expect it to be, but we truly know something. We just have this knowing, this is exactly what we should do, then just go for it. Trust the universe.
Yeah,
And they
exactly.
are,
Always trust the universe. It's like,
yeah,
if it feels good, if it feels, expansive and light, trust the universe and follow your heart.
exactly. And there she was, Ella, our dog, she was kind of like the translator for that, bringing in that really, really important lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really amazing. And they have all these messages for us.
My baby's
They,
sleeping
they,
now. I'm gonna do this more often. I'm gonna bring you in here more often. It's like, I didn't know you'd be so comfortable. Oh my God. Really? Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
they are adding their energy, then they're happy to be with us doing these things.
Yeah, because he's usually at my feet, and lying on the floor or in my meditation chair. And now he's like, oh, I think he's comfortable. Oh my goodness.
Totally.
But that's the thing, is like, we have a connection with our pets, and they have a connection with us, and we do have that bond. But I think it's only when we don't think of them as just animals. It's like, to me, Neo has such a personality, and he's not just an animal. To me, he's a
No,
soul.
definitely. Definitely. And I'm even expanding that. Um, where, for example, the Buddhists say only when you are or reached a certain level of awakening, then you will be a human. I'm putting it in a different way, because what I truly believe is that you can only incarnate being an animal when you are evolved enough, being able to live unconditional love fully, because this is what they all do.
Yeah.
Unconditional love, that's really their biggest lesson. And look, I mean, they're asking for food, they're asking for shelter, they're asking for spending some time going for walks, but that's basically it. They have no demands. They don't want this new jacket or the new color, or I don't know,
Hmm.
the
They
new
just want to
car where they
play.
can drive, and they would just want to be with you. They want to
Yeah.
be around you no matter what. And even if you sometimes push them away because you have no time, then they are not angry.
Mhm.
They are not angry. They just forgive you. And then maybe you give them a treat, cuddle them, and everything is fine again. They will
Yeah.
not, like, for half a year not talk to you. No,
No.
no. And this is
I mean,
really
I do
where
that all
we,
the time, right? All the time. Unfortunately, like Neil would want to play. I'm like, Neil, I don't have time right now. I'm working. Give me 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes, or I'll say 10 minutes, and then I will play with him. But it's like, I can't right now. Just give me 5 minutes.
so
you know?
doesn't you understand 5 minutes? I suppose no.
No, but if I tell him there's nothing happening right now, he understands that,
Yeah.
right? He understands there's nothing happening right now.
And they're really also helping us to not just stick to work and sit and do something,
Mhm.
but they're pulling us out of that, showing us that there are other things where we
Yeah,
focus on ourselves, where we are about joy and play and just having fun, where we are allowed to be childlike again. And
absolutely. And for
that's
me,
so important.
he's a great well, he tool, I hate to use that word, but he helps me to raise my vibration. He helps me
Yeah,
to get out of my head and not be so serious, and play, because I'm a very serious person, right? But he helps me to laugh and play and be light, and of course go for a walk, which I like too, and he loves, right? So for me, he's been a lifesaver, you know,
yeah,
in that
totally,
way, right? Yeah. So
totally
he's
get
he's
that.
been
Yes.
great. Yeah.
And they are transforming our energies as well. And now I'm a dog owner, so I'm this is why I'm mostly talking about dogs, but also cats are so amazing. So sorry, all cat, horse, sheep, goat, whatever owner.
Yeah.
We're talking about all animals, but I mean, it's dog that's present for us, but cats are so amazing. um we have some stray cats, and one of them decided to move in with us. It's a male one, and he's so beautiful. And whenever something's off, like my husband has something, he's laying exactly on that area and purring and staying there until he feels better. And this happens over and over again.
Mhm.
So that's so wonderful when you see those gifts that they have intuitively exactly doing that. So that's, yeah.
Well, I know that with cats, wherever they tend to rest or sleep or whatever, it's like in that spot, in that space, they're transmuting energy, right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
sometimes when cats come around you, they're transmuting the energy around you.
Yeah,
Dogs,
they're
on the right, and dogs, when they go and sit somewhere or lie down somewhere, they lie where the energy is high, right?
exactly. So never put your bed where the cat is sitting, to keep it short. I mean,
Yeah,
they are really
absolutely.
there to transform the energy and negativity.
Yeah.
That's what they are doing in a most beautiful way. And dogs are really here to support the energy in a positive way, but they're looking for the positive spots already to put your attention there. Yeah,
Well, that's
true.
why he sits in my meditation chair. He'll sit in my seat on the couch when I'm not sitting. He's like, I'll go in there and like, what are you doing in my spot? That's where he goes and sits, or wherever my feet normally are, that's where he will sit. So it's like, it's just interesting how they do that, right? And it's I find it quite interesting how they just know, they have this great
Yeah,
sense. And of course, they're very intuitive with people. So they know, who's nice and who's not nice kind of thing.
definitely. So avoid those that they avoid. It's just as
Yeah,
easy as that.
absolutely. That's the thing. Yeah. So, okay. So, we're talking briefly and just around different things right now because, it's so special to have Neo here with us, so, but, so that's why we're making a big deal of, dogs especially. But the thing is like, whether you have a cat or a dog or any other pet, they do tend to, they work with our energies, right? They tend to work with our energies and our spaces, and they raise our vibration. They get us out of our head, they get us out of our thinking, they get us out of our regular routine even, right?
Exactly. Exactly. You just open up to them and allow them to do what they're supposed to do, and then everything happens naturally. And as you said, it's not just an animal, it's a soul
Mm-hmm.
and a family member. And I really don't get people that ask questions like, your dog is allowed to sleep in your bed, how can you? I mean, where else could he sleep? If he decides to do that, that's
Yeah,
very natural.
yeah,
I mean, Ella can choose, so she can lay on the floor, on her sheepskin, or on the bed. Mostly she decides for the bed, and she's very good in choosing exactly the middle of the middle of the middle so that I can somehow move around. But I never
yeah.
ever
Neil's
remove
always
her.
around my feet. Yeah, it's just so funny. Neil's always around my feet, and I never hear him moving around. So it's like when I do turn, I have to be careful. It's like, where is he? But it's okay. It's like I'm so used to it now. But it's always, at my feet, near my feet. He doesn't come up to my head, or the pillow. He just stays down there.
Well,
So
whatever they prefer. And so it's like looking at the personality and about how individually they handle all the situations. So every dog is different. And you cannot just go and say, okay, this is the breed and all of them are like this. No, that's totally wrong. You have to really look individually at your animal. What are the individual needs? Not every horse wants to carry humans. I
mhm.
mean, some of them are really like, are you crazy? Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah. That's not their
not
job. They're like, that's not my job this time around. Yeah.
exactly. And I have one story, if it's okay to share that,
Mhm.
where a horse owner did reach out to me, and he said, well, my horse has always injuries, legs always injured. As soon as he is healed and I want to start riding again, then he comes up with something different, so I never can ride this horse. And I did work with the horse on a physical level and communicated with it, and the horse didn't want to carry always this person.
Mhm.
And he said, the horse shared with me that it would like to go on walks with the owner,
Yeah.
and maybe sometimes go out for a ride, but not always. He wants to be asked. And so I did share that, and he changed exactly that. And since then, everything is okay. And maybe once in a week, the horse is happy to go for a ride and carry the human. But on other days, it's just happy to run around freely or to go on a walk. So these are the stories behind. It's not what we want is not relevant. We have to learn to communicate and understand them. Then any problem might just disappear. And it doesn't matter if it's horse, cat, or dog. Just listen to your animal. Not all dogs are made for raw feeding or for kibble or for wet food. Just ask your dog what is the best.
So that's a great question. How do we talk to our pets? Or how do
That's
we
a good
hear them?
one.
How do we understand them? So this is a whole animal communication class, but not really. We're just like briefly going into it.
Well, at the end, you have several things where you can look out. First, you can watch your animal. Um, Cats, dogs, horses all have their individual way of communicating, like how the ears are positioned, where is the tail, how is how do you say that? The tension in the body, are they
Mhm.
Very careful or on alert, or are they happy? And you can read that. And I noticed quite a couple of times that the dog was kind of like trying to bury the food. He was moving the bowl away and then trying to cover it, when I understood, oh, it just doesn't like the food.
Mhm.
So there is something in it that the dog doesn't like.
Yeah.
And then why force the dog go outside when it's raining, when it doesn't like? I mean, they don't have to. They have to go to pee and do their business, yes, but it's not like we think we have to go out 3 times for a 2-hour walk. If you have a lazy dog like Ella, she prefers to meditate. So whenever I go walking, it's like for 1 kilometer, you have 1 hour, because she's looking at the sea, she's looking at the seagulls. Then there is somebody driving by with a car, she's watching the car. So that's okay.
Mhm.
Our last dog, he was like speedy, 10 kilometers in half an hour, because he was so interested and so excited. So they are all different. And why not just accept it?
Yeah,
And that's one
absolutely.
thing where you really can read from how your animal behaves, the ear position, the tail. Does it feel comfortable? That is the first sign. And the animal communication is actually easier than you might think. But it often appears that you might think, oh, I'm having a self communication, now I'm getting crazy. No, because exactly this is not what it is. It's really like, just go within, maybe take two or three deep breaths when you start doing that first time. And
Mhm.
then you ask a question. You kind of like connect with your heart space to the animal. And then you ask this question. And the very first thing that comes to your mind, maybe the answer even starts before you end your question. Then you know exactly this is the answer from the animal.
Right.
And it is really that easy. It's not complicated. And they are so happy to share. And they are also not depending on language, because so many people ask me, yeah, but my dog only knows German or French, or, well, no. Actually, they are talking frequency, and it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter which language you are using. So I'm doing kind of like all different languages, German or English, sometimes using some Croatian words in between. And
Exactly.
it doesn't really matter. It's actually its frequency. And therefore just give it a try. Go a little bit inside when you start it. Later it gets more natural and it happens just naturally.
and and trust, and that's the thing. It's
Exactly.
like trust what you're getting. Like if you're getting
Yeah.
some intuitive knowing, some intuitive hit, just trust it. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably right. Right. And instead of trying to make things complicated and whatever, just
Right.
just trust what you're getting. You'll
Yeah.
know if it's right or wrong eventually.
Yeah.
You'll get it. So,
and
but
and it's not necessarily that you get really words. So we all
yeah.
have different way of perceiving this information. It can be just an energy that you receive. Maybe you receive some visual things. I'm receiving words, but everyone is different. And some of you might only just have that knowing that you have been just mentioning, Alara, and all is perfectly fine. So there is no
Yeah.
right, there is no wrong. Don't force yourself or have a negative self. Oh, I cannot hear my animal. No, maybe it's not that you hear it, but maybe you get some insights that are
Hmm.
suddenly there. And or maybe you're just seeing a color, and with a color you connect something,
Yeah.
so some meaning
Absolutely.
that the color has, and everything is perfectly fine. Everyone is different. And don't give up
um
if it doesn't work the first time. Maybe try with some friend's animal first, not with the own one.
mhm.
That's most often much easier.
Yeah.
And if you try to connect to a cat, be aware that you might hear, no, I'm not talking to you, you're human, I'm not talking to humans. So
Hmm.
also that can happen. Dogs are mostly a bit more open.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're such a good boy, right? Except today, you didn't tell me you were hungry. You didn't tell me that I didn't feed you. Eventually I did, but it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't give you food. Hey, mommy was silly. I was working. It's like 5 more minutes, and then I like totally lost track. But yeah, but you're good. I gave you a TREAT. You were good. um, so and also with time, with practice, we start to get a feel for how our pet is, like how they feel, what they like to do, what they like to, what treats they like, what treats they don't, what food they like, what food they don't. I mean, I know some things like, like he doesn't like bananas, he doesn't like oranges, like there are some things he doesn't like. So even if he sees me having one and he comes and it's like, nope, you don't like it. We've tried a couple of times, you spit it out. So it's like, nope. Right. So it's like, but he still is like, maybe it's something else. That's what his energy is like. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's, it's something I like, but yeah, it's all
Absolutely,
good.
yeah.
So we have lots of questions in the chat and we have people with their hands raised. I know we're still talking about lots of other stuff as well, but I want to talk before we take any questions. I just want to talk about purpose. I don't know if we talked about that yet, but what purpose does my baby have? What is your purpose for being here? And not specifically,
Well,
I'm just like talking about dogs or cats.
but to take that example, it was very clear to kind of literally save your life and help you moving on. And in general, it's really bringing us down to earth, grounding us, and showing us that life actually is simple and doesn't ask a lot. It's about shelter, it's about food, it's about social interaction and love.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
basically it. And everything else is an add on.
Yeah, it's companionship, for both of us. It's
Yeah.
companionship, and it's bringing that joy into our lives, that lightness into our lives, getting out of our head, getting, not being so serious, and just realizing that there's so much to be grateful for, and
Yeah.
how life can be so precious. And yeah, exactly. It's like, that's the thing. It's like sometimes when we're unhappy, we forget those things, right? And
Yeah.
so, as but yeah, Neo's the best. That's all I gotta say. Everybody knows I say this all the time, and I'm gonna say it again. He's just the bestest dog in the whole wide world. Hey, you're the bestest dog in
Of
the whole wide world.
course. And I mean, just taking the fact you're going out for walks now, again, we're with the dogs, but first of all, you're going outside no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I really don't get those people that say, I have to go out with
Mm-hmm.
the dog. Because what really happens is you are allowed to take yourself out of any other game. It's your choice if you take your mobile and cannot put it away while you're walking the dog. But there is no phone, there is nothing. You have to do the laundry or whatever. No, now is dog time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
wonderful. You're just taking yourself out and I'm gone now. I'm going with the dog. And then you also learn to have awareness for what's going on outside in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you not just pass by somewhere, but you're standing there because the dog is sniffing. And then
Mm-hmm.
you notice this little flower that has come out, it's spring. And then
Exactly.
you see that something and there's something. You meet other people.
Yeah.
It's so fantastic because you meet so many people through the dog. It's unbelievable.
It's
And
great. It's such a gift, and that's the thing. It's like,
exactly.
we're in the country now, but even when we were in the city, oh my goodness, Neo, everybody would stare at Neo and smile. It was just so fun. They wouldn't see me at all, but they would see Neo, all the tourists and everybody.
Yeah.
They would just see him and smile because he was just so joy filled, and he had no interest in anybody, nobody. He doesn't care who you are. He's just enjoying his walk,
Yep.
unless of course he sees another dog, that's a different story. But otherwise, he has no interest in anybody. Just he's in sniffing, and that's it. And he's just
Sounds
enjoying
like
life.
Yeah, sounds like Ella. I mean, she's maybe looking at the stranger, but then okay, and she goes and does
Yeah.
whatever she needs to do, and
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now if she hears kids over in the field, she's like, I mean, he's like stops, looks, listens. It's like it's okay. There's people over there. It's all right. They're allowed to be there. Let's go. I mean, he's curious. It's like, who are those people over there, right? So,
yeah,
and he's kind of become like a guard dog of our area, because he's like looks at everybody like, who is this person? It's like people live here, Neil. Not very many, 85 now, but people do live here. They're allowed to be here. Yeah.
yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
it's
it's great.
one of the most beautiful gifts that you can have, having an animal in your life that shares your heart. It's unbelievable. Yeah,
I didn't know I could love an animal or a pet this much. It's crazy how much I love him. He's like I mean, my kids know he's like my child, So so when they talk to him, they're like, hey, how's my brother? Because Neo's their brother, right? So it's like they get it, because yeah, that's just how I am, right? So if I love something or somebody, well, it's like complete. It doesn't, there's no, he's an animal or whatever, no, it's just, he's a soul, he's a being. And,
definitely.
it's that soul, the heart to heart connection, the soul to soul connection is there. And it's for life. So he's my baby. Yeah.
And I'm pretty much sure you're like me. I'm talking to Ella the entire time. So when I'm cooking, I explain to her what I'm doing. When I'm doing something different, I explain to her. That may sound funny, but what also happens, they start really understanding every single word.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I talk to Neo all the time.
So it's like when we needed to clear the ear to clean the ears, and I only think about ear cleaning, then Ella
Mm-hmm.
is gone. Not even talking about it. So they
Yeah.
really get used to the language you use and the way how we say it. And I totally believe that it's true that they really understand also behavioral things. So I clearly noticed one day the dog had some diarrhea and we were not home. So he had to do this in our home, and he
Yeah.
was totally ashamed when we came back, and it was like 1 hour later. So don't tell me they don't know what they have done. And he was
Mm-hmm.
really sad about that, and that he couldn't make it out. So it goes way deeper than they tell us, and than normal people think it
Yeah,
goes.
absolutely. And it's when Robert first went into the hospital back in November, it's been so long ago. The first couple of weeks, Neo would like be throwing up. Like every night he'd be
Yeah,
like, I think searching for him, and he'd be
yeah,
throwing up, a couple of times. And it's like, oh my goodness, what's going on with my baby? But
yeah,
so then, then I would close the door to the bedroom so he would stay in the bedroom, but then he was fine. After that
mm,
he'd stopped. But I realized that that's what he was. He was looking for Robert. Where is Robert? And not finding him, and being in stress.
well,
But he'll
very
2 more weeks, baby.
clear. I mean, you and Robert are his pack,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
when one of the pack members is missing, they can really freak out and they don't understand. And then they really have thoughts like, what did I do? Did he leave because of me? Did I do something? So they are looking for what's wrong here, and looking for the person, and they don't understand it. This is why people always tell me, yeah, the dogs have to be able to stay alone at home. No, they don't. They are pack members, and it's the biggest threat that you can throw on them, leaving them alone. While there are animals that are happy, dogs especially, to be alone and that don't destroy the entire home.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean that they are really happy with that.
Hmm.
They
Neo's
don't
never
get
been home
why we
alone.
leave them alone.
Yeah, he. I mean, I left him alone once for like 5 minutes, and he was like freaking out. So he does not like to be left home alone. So he's never been. And so when he sees me getting ready to so he's like, something's happening. And then he's like right by my feet the whole time and staring at me. He's
Yeah.
like, don't worry, you're coming with me. And I have to keep telling him, it's okay, you're coming with me. I'm not going to leave you here by yourself. You're coming with me. Or
Yeah.
Amanda's here, so you'll be with Amanda. So it's okay, or something, because
Yeah.
he gets really stressed out. He's like, I want to go too. Don't leave me alone, mommy,
Yeah.
and then when I come home, then he's like so happy and going crazy for a little while, but he's so happy that I'm back. It's like so much
Yeah.
relief. You want to get down, baby? You were a good boy. You were such a good boy. You were such a good boy. Yes. Okay. That was a good. No, you don't want to get down. Okay, sit down. Okay, I'll take you down. Come here. So you were such a good boy. Yeah, that's good enough. Get down. Oh, good.
Well, our first two boys, they didn't like to be alone at all. Now Ella is a bit more independent. She's totally okay um, to be alone for even an hour, 1.5 hours. So that's fine, and that's also okay. So when you know that, you don't have to take her for shopping when it's like 30 plus outside. That's a huge relief. So she stays home, is comfortable there. Lara, you moved it yourself, so maybe that's
Yeah.
better.
I was moving the computer around, so I didn't want to make
Ah,
noise.
okay. Okay. Just
Yeah,
thought
it's all
better
good.
tell you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, it's important for us to get to know what our pet or animal likes or dislikes, what they're comfortable with,
Exactly.
and not force them into a situation that they're uncomfortable with. It's like, I
Right.
wouldn't want to be forced into a situation that I'm uncomfortable with, that freaks me out. As much as,
True.
we like to be strong and like, yeah, I can do it, like really at the energetic level, at the cellular level, we're really not okay with it. And so why
Yeah.
would we, and we try not to do that with our kids. Sometimes we say, you got to suck it up. You got to do it. But, dogs, pets, they don't have to, if you can help it.
That's really true. And unfortunately, there are some humans out there that really think they can use their power. So they have nothing to say in their normal life, like the boss is putting on them and
Yeah.
whatever, the spouse. And then they're having this German Shepherd, and then they really put all force on this poor animal. But
Yeah.
we don't forget that they did agree to this life. So I really want to change some perception here. Although, of course, I don't like to see that, and I don't like seeing animals tortured or anything like that. But there are soul contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And for our animals, the
Mm-hmm.
topic of life and death is not the same like it is for us. For them, it's very normal.
Right.
And so they agree to this lifetime, and it might be maybe even a lifetime where they are tortured, but it's still okay for them. And then they leave and incarnate again. So we have to come to a different understanding when it comes to life and death and why they agree to that. And again, it does not mean that I find this any good. No animal should go through any harm on this planet. No animal should live in some zoo or whatever. But it is what it is. And there are these soul contracts, like the mouse has the soul contract with the cat, and then the
Mm-hmm.
mouse is eaten. So this is also part
Yeah.
of life,
Yeah.
or of
And
the
it's still
cycle
hard,
of life.
it's like when we hear about puppy mills or, pets or dogs being abused, same thing with
Yeah,
children, like, don't get
yeah,
me wrong, if it's children, or anybody, I don't like it, like
yeah.
any of it, it's still wrong. Um, but, one thing that I have heard is that pets sometimes take on the owner's illnesses and so on.
Yes, true. Absolutely true. And I have a lot of stories, but two were really outstanding, and I can quickly share them. And one was well, middle-sized male dog. It was a mix, and he had a liver tumor, and it was really as big as a fist under the right rib cage. You could see it, and he didn't want to go to the vet. He was behaving like totally freaking out, refusing all medication. And so the caretaker, the mom, reached out to me and said, "Can you do something?" And I said, "Well, just let's see what is possible here." And I started working on the dog on a physical level and also communicating, because I wanted to know the reason why. Maybe sometimes they have a solution, sometimes they have a suggestion for medication, or can at least share why this came up. And after a while, I asked this dog, knowing that he refuses any medication, and I found 2 homeopathic remedies that would be really beneficial. And then I educated him about the homeopathics, what this is, and he did agree.
Hmm.
So he went on these homeopathics and the tumor disappeared. Really, it was 3 weeks, the tumor
Wow.
disappeared.
Wow.
And I had another communication with this dog and asked him, "Well, would you maybe please share with me why did you have that? That was not kind of real." So, and the dog said, "Yeah, you're right. I wanted to bring my owner's attention to her own liver,
Hmm.
because she's having issues. She's having liver issues. And now you please promise me to share with her. She needs to do something to support her liver."
Right.
And that's
Wow.
what I did. And she supported her liver. She had a fatty liver, and it was already very advanced. And so she got help. The dog recovered, and everything was fine again. And what was the other story? Yeah, that was an
What are you
interesting
doing
one.
back there? You want to? One sec. I think he
This
wants to come back
guy,
up. Go ahead.
this guy was a bit of an older man, and he always had German shepherds. And it was third German shepherd in a row that he had to let go due to stomach cancer.
Hmm.
And he didn't get the message. So he decided, no, I don't want a dog anymore. I don't want to go through that anymore. Guess what? Half a year later, he passed over from liver, stomach cancer. Sorry, stomach
Mhm.
cancer. I
Wow.
mean, that's very, very impressive. There are some other, like our last dog, when my husband had a leg injury, like a torn ligament, he started limping.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
it can be all different things where they really try to take over
Mhm.
or take. Sometimes it's to show you something, to bring an awareness to you. Sometimes they are just transforming something. So
Mhm. Mhm. Well,
very,
I
very
told Neo
careful with
he is
that.
not going to do that. He's not going to take on any of my stuff. I already told him. I said, "You are not. I will take care of my own stuff. You are not taking any of my stuff." I told him that straight
Well,
out at the very beginning.
but you know what his answer would be? If it's my job, I will do it. You can
Right.
tell me whatever you want. I'm not interested. This I told our last dog, because he was very, very attached to my husband, and I always told him, why are you doing it? We can handle the situations. You don't have to take over, no matter what mental issues, emotional or physical.
Mhm.
That's my job. You don't have to tell me. Okay.
That's funny. That's funny. I mean, but I did. I said that because that's how much. I mean, I love him, and I don't want him to suffer. That was. That's the thing. It's like I don't want him to suffer. Period.
True,
I
but
mean,
this is not how they see it. This is not that they see it as suffering. They are, if you don't allow them to do that, then they suffer, because this is purpose
right,
again.
right, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I
So
will get my control
sometimes,
freak attitude out of the picture. Yeah, got it. All right. So we've talked
hey,
a
there
lot
is a
about stuff.
wonderful cat.
Oh yeah, Carrie's cat.
Yeah,
All right, so
wonderful.
we have some questions. We have some people with their hand raised. If you do have a question and you want to raise your hand, go ahead. You can raise your hand, or it is *6 on the phone, or you can type your question in the chat. So Linda's had her hand raised for a while, before we started, I think, maybe, or right when we started. Linda. Where are you, Linda? All right, otherwise we're gonna go to Carrie. All right, Carrie, go ahead. You wanna unmute yourself, Carrie? We'll go to Linda after.
Okay, yeah. I've been dealing with this cat situation for about 10 years now, and I'm wondering if you have any insight. And that is, the cat you just saw is a female. She's got a sibling, a litter mate, who's a male. They came back to me about 10 years ago. They've been with me before in this lifetime as cats. And the boy is a real bully. And he's also a world-class cuddle bug and has a lot of lovely characteristics, but he's a bully. He used to beat the crap out of her. He even injured her. And I had some shamanistic work done. He had some sort of he had an issue that needed to get a little extracted, but he created a habit already. So although it got a lot better after that, in fact, she left the home and communicated and says, I'm not coming back until he gets a healing. So we got him the healing and she came back. But he still does it. He's a bully to, we have a Black Panther cat who was a wild kitty and probably got dumped off and came to live with us. And he bullies him, and he's persistent and he's stubborn, and it makes me crazy. And I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to find, a house share situation when I've got this bully cat too. So I've thought of finding a home for him because I think he'd do really well as a single cat. But then it breaks my heart to think that I'm like getting rid of him. And I don't know if I want to.
Well, I'm sensing some brain connections that are not properly set up. Also some germs that are. Sorry, I didn't understand.
I think he may have had a seizure or two by the way he was acting on 2 occasions recently.
That sounds very possible. Some hormonal imbalance also, but that's linked then to the brain issue. We have the main hormonal glands in the brain. I'm pretty much sure I could help restore a lot from that. What's going on, especially the seizures. I've been successfully working with humans and animals, especially when it comes to seizures. Some germs are in his brain.
Okay.
He
just
already,
came up here to.
Is he castrated?
Yes.
But there is still some imbalance and some miscommunication with the limbic brain, so the very old part of the brain from previous ancient times, and that is a bit over present. This is why he's presenting this macho style thing here.
And they had to walk into 2 other cats who had been at the Humane Society for several months. They walked in. They knew there's a walk-in thing. They weren't born into that body. They walked into them. So who knows what they've got left that they had to deal with.
Well, as I said, I'm pretty sure we can somehow work on this brain condition and see what's going on here. If you're interested, powerful recordings that I created and maybe the remote healing to get things sorted.
All right. And your contact is your contact information is on the website or something?
Yes, everything should be there.
Yeah, we'll talk about the special offer soon. So then we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie.
Good luck. Okay, so All right. So Shama was asking about her connection with her dog Bella. And I don't understand the question because it's too general. But she's asking about her connection with her dog Bella. Is it a contract? Is it a soulmate? I guess that's your question.
Well, it's for sure some soul contract. That's clear.
Yeah.
Finding out if it's a soulmate, I would have to go deeper, and I think it's not the perfect format here to go now on that level. But I'm seeing a very long connection already persisting. And what happens, it feels more like that this soul is guiding you for quite a while in different shapes and forms. So it may have been humans, animals, just animals, whatever, but this is the information that is coming in.
Good. So she's been with this soul a lot before, many times.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Good. All right. Cool. Good to know, right, Shama? All right. So Alexandra has a question, and please help me get answers to a mystery with my short-haired German pointer Daisy, whom I rescued about 7 years ago. Keeps eating soil, red soil. Multiple animal communicators have been puzzled by it and offered many different reasons why it happens. Please help me get to the bottom of it and get it to stop, as it obviously hurts her body. She can eat it before feeding or after as a dessert, and I have tried everything to stop it. She roams freely outside as I live in the country, so she always has an opportunity to snack on soil all year round.
Okay. What clearly came in is a lack of something, mineral, trace mineral in that way. This is mostly the case here. When we talk about those things, what I'm sensing is a too high histamine level, which stops the gut being able to absorb all the nutrients, minerals, trace minerals, vitamins from the food. And this is why they are looking for additional sources. And this is what I'm sensing here. It's just a lack, and it is related to some problem where she cannot make use of the food, or maybe the food is not that high quality or has all the minerals, additional minerals maybe, that she needs. So that would be now interesting, because some people are, for example, feeding kangaroo, which in Australia might be okay, but like in Europe, this is not enough, because European animals don't tend to eat kangaroo. And so when you start to feed kangaroo, your animal might start lacking important minerals and vitamins. So you have to add them on an additional basis. What you could try is get some high quality herbal mix. Now I can only refer to some that I get in Germany or in Croatia here. So depending on the country where you are, it might not be available. So that's a bit of a tricky thing here to recommend something in particular. But I'm sure that every country has something, especially when you look into the barf area where they feed raw meat. They should have high quality herbal mixtures that should help with exactly that condition.
Awesome. That makes total sense. So Alexander, hopefully that helps. Okay. So it makes total sense that she's missing some sort of mineral or nutrient. Absolutely. I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. I know it's not grain. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say it. Go ahead. Hi, you're unmuted. How do you say your name? Grain? I know it's not grain. You're unmuted, but I can't hear you. anyway, so the question is, could you ask what my cat Panger's purpose is and how I can support him currently? That's a very general question.
That's really very general, and I think we kind of like answered all these general questions, and
Yeah.
that's really true for all animals. So Gran, also for your cat, it's definitely to support you, to lift you up, maybe to transform you, to teach you, and yeah, that's basically it.
She said, or he said, I think this is she, he's not feeling well currently. Okay.
Well, I mean, that can mean all
Many
things.
things.
Let me just physical. At the moment, lots of animals really are involved in all the energies, in the global consciousness, in this heaviness, feeling people's fear, anxiety, frustration, anger, and they are really taking that on. So it's more linked in that area. It's not it, and it has not yet manifested. It shows maybe in a physical way, but it has not manifested as an illness or disease. It's just this I'm feeling unwell thing,
Right.
like looking outside and I could vomit. So
Yeah. Good. Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, so a second, go back up, back up. Hold on one sec. Alexandra, we got Shama, Angela. Okay, it's not a question, so it's okay, we're good. Just a comment. Zila says, can you please check my dog Fawn? She has cysts, one on her back that's growing large and another internal on her stomach, and a few other small ones starting that are not fluidy but hard. Okay. Poor Fawn.
actually, I'm not testing any cancerous cysts for now. The first one was immediately coming up as fatty cyst. So this is very common, and there is not even a lot you can do. You can have them removed. In most cases, they will just return. And to be honest, I have not found anything that could stop fatty lumps from showing up. They're just sitting there. It's not serious. Only when they start like infiltrating some tissue or putting pressure on something, then you're going to remove them. Other than that, you will just have them sit there. No worries. The one at the stomach is also no cancerous thing. The other one, she doesn't talk about internal or on the skin or.
Where's that goes? I'm getting there. And another internal on her stomach and a few other small ones starting that are not fluid, but she doesn't say where. One cyst on her
Sounds
back.
very much like they are outside. So what everyone can do when you find a lump somewhere on your animal, first of all, if you can touch it and it's not painful, that's the first sign that you should look at. And then if you can remove it, so if it's removable to the tissue underneath, then you can be pretty sure it's something not tumor. So something, yeah. So whenever you can move it freely, then it's something that is okay, something non-malignant. Do you say that? I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah.
If
Benign
it's
is same as non-malignant is
benign, benign, yes, exactly. Thank you, Alara. And if it's stuck to the tissue underneath, if it's non-removable, just stuck there, sitting there, then the reason that it is cancerous is pretty high. But that's a first sign where you can check, is it good or not good? and then you can stop worrying. When you can remove it, it's maybe something.
Yeah. Okay. So the one that's internal, she cannot. So get it checked. Go take it. Go to a doctor, get it checked. Because yeah, you're right. If it's internal, how are you supposed to move it? Right? How are you supposed to lift it?
Exactly. But
Yeah.
for now, I'm not testing it cancerous, but this doesn't mean anything. It can shift being cancerous after a
Yeah.
while. Now it's not yet cancerous. So
Yeah. Okay, good. Jody says, my dog has developed the same disease as myself and also has cancer. How can I help him? That's a pretty serious one, but we'll see what Martina has to say. This is Jody's dog.
do we have a name from that dog? No?
No.
Okay, it's okay. I can go with Jody.
Mhm.
Well, there is clearly a connection. So it would be interesting to know if she's
Oh.
going to treat the dog.
His name is Zeus.
Ah, wonderful. Wonderful boy. Yeah. Jody, do you intend to do treatment on him? No answer.
Not yet.
Because what I'm getting is that he's kind of like showing her how to go through that and get out of that in a good way. That it is
So yes,
not.
I have had one tumor removed. So yes, I have had one tumor removed.
So we're talking about mast cell tumor, probably. Whatever, maybe skin.
Yes. She said yes.
Okay. It was a low grade mast cell, so probably 1 or 2. So that looks not too bad. I'm pretty much sure Joyce is showing you that you can go through that it doesn't mean one has to just pass over. It's not some death sentence that comes with that diagnosis. A tumor is actually the manifestation of an unresolved emotion. So depending where the tumor is, we can look at what emotion is linked to that organ or tissue, and then we can work on that. Oh, another beautiful dog comes in. And yeah, what if you two just go through that? Maybe not even school medicine treatment. I don't know if you're brave enough to trust alternative treatments. I'm not getting that school medicine is necessarily an option for you. If it's some skin tumor, then cut it out, but all the rest, do it on an alternative basis.
Yeah.
And then you can help the both of you. It's a journey you will go together, and you both support each other on that way. Wonderful.
Good. Yeah, good. Awesome. All right, I'm just gonna take one more quick question. Maybe two, we'll see. 1 second. What is it? Ah, so hard to find. MG says, our cat Luna has a problem with throwing up. We've tried different food brands and different proteins or no protein, and she does eat soft food too, but this can have the same result. We've taken her to the vet, but nothing came up wrong. Could this be an emotional issue? Sure. Like I said, I talked about Neo at the beginning when after Robert left, Neo was throwing up every night, and that was why he was stressed because, Robert's not here. Where is he? couldn't find him,
Absolutely.
etc.
Absolutely. And stomach is linked to the emotion of fear. And at the moment, fear is a very, very big topic. I'm still sensing some issue with the food here. So maybe there is some ingredient, maybe just a little ingredient that is not okay. But the rest is also emotional. So it's a combination um, of those both factors, like the physical. Um, there is some small thing in the food. Maybe check your food and I could test, if you consider buying one of the packages, I can test those ingredients if they are okay, or if maybe you should change something. Maybe it's just a little thing. Maybe it's some herb that is in there that they don't tolerate, or the potato, which everybody thinks is hyperallergic, but so many dogs are not tolerating potatoes, and cats, of course, not to talk about cats. I mean, they just need meat. They're carnivores, so there is a lot about food that is relevant.
Yeah, for sure. And Faye's asking, can you speak a little bit about fear of dogs and cats? I used to be scared of dogs, big dogs. I think I'm still scared of big dogs. But we have Neo's little, so it's okay. But yeah, because yeah. So can you talk a little bit about being scared of? I used to be not scared of cats per se, but nervous or anxious, or like I just didn't feel comfortable.
So we're really talking about the fear of the human when seeing a cat or a dog.
Yeah.
Okay. That very often goes back to some very old part of the brain. Again, we are back in the limbic system. We're back in those times when humans lived in caves, and the saber-toothed tiger was out there. So there, for a lot, there is this memory present that the saber-toothed tiger or any other wild animal is behind you, and that is may still be present. And when you have now and even a small event of a cat maybe jumping up right in front of you and you have not seen the cat, or the dog was just excited walking towards you, jumping up, and then you were scared as a kid, then this may be triggered, and then you're running this program for your entire life, not even seeing, oh, that's not real, that's not real. You're really running this program then.
Yeah.
And a lot of events that result from that, because I'm reading, I was taught to have fear. That happens a lot. So some grown up has a bad or had a bad experience with cat, dog, whatever, and then they project it onto the children. And this is really a disaster. And at the end, what you find is a total wrong behavior towards the animal.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens normally when people approach a dog, they want to instantly pat him on the head. But I mean, think about it. Would you want that? Hey, Alara. No. And
no.
also how you approach them with your hand, let them sniff, go underneath to the throat area, and gentle, careful, not standing right in front of them, presenting the shoulder width here. They will be scared from that. It is dangerous for them. Approach them sidewise, show them their hand, not running away. If a little child runs away from a dog, oh, that's fun for the dog, chasing something. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's the bad dog
Yeah.
that did injure the child. So a lot of misunderstandings here, but for those that are just in fear for no reason, where they have no idea, this is a result of this old part of the brain, the fear from the saber-toothed tiger.
So
So some
what can they do?
hypnosis, what
Oh,
can they
mhm.
do? Yeah, some hypnosis, for example, could help. Or one
Yeah.
of my other offers that I have when it comes to humans. So it's about really rewriting the story.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
basically it.
exactly. Yeah. I was trying to think because when I was younger, we had a really big, he was a big half German, half Belgian Shepherd dog. I mean, huge. And I was like, not even 100 pounds, you know, like really tiny. And when he would run, I would have to let go of the leash because it's like, you know, I could not. So that was also in my head. And then we did have a bigger dog when we were older, like with the kids. And he was great, except for when he was a husky and shepherd, or a husky and lab. And when he wanted to run, I mean, he would charge, but at the last second, he would swerve, you know, but he's like coming right at you, like, oh my God. Right. So it's like, you know, so I'm frozen in fear, right? Even though
Absolutely.
he moves at the last second, but it's at the
Yeah.
last freaking second.
It's sometimes really when, for example, a Great Dane comes towards
Oh
you
yeah. Yeah.
and then maybe jumping on your shoulders. So it's like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it can be really, really scary.
Yeah.
Or even cats. I mean, sometimes they're
Mhm.
jumping and the hair is like all over the place. It's like,
Yeah.
but at the end they have no bad intention. So the most incidents happen through some mistake of a human being, like
Mhm.
acting in the wrong way, doing the wrong thing.
Mhm.
um, I only know one example of a dog where it turned out that the dog was in massive pain,
Mm. Right.
and it was just a reaction to the massive pain that he had, um, where he reacted aggressive.
Mhm.
So they are not per se aggressive. It's always the human that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can
So
make
Faye,
any dog aggressive. So it doesn't matter if it's a Chihuahua or a Great Dane. It doesn't really matter.
or a little Tibetan Spaniel, even though he, you know, sometimes when we play, it's aggressive playing, but it's still he's so good. But yeah, absolutely. So Faye, you know, you definitely need to get some more healing, hypnosis, work with Martina in, you know, in some way to get that resolved and healed, because it's not fun being afraid
No,
of animals. It's
no,
not fun. Absolutely.
no. I mean,
Um,
you're so restricted in your life in general.
yeah,
You cannot even go
yeah.
to a restaurant. You cannot go on the street. I remember a former neighbor. She never ever left her house. And then I suggested working with me, but that scared the hell out of her. So she had this sweat. She was sweating like crazy. She having a heart attack and went back inside. And later she called me and said, Martina, I cannot even think of working on that. That creates that massive panic. What I want to say, it doesn't get better. It gets worse over the time.
Yeah.
It adds up because when you are in fear of that, you will attract exactly that. It's always you that will meet those dogs that will approach you and maybe jump on you.
So it is our
And
energy. They pick up on our energy of fear or nervousness, anxiety, whatever.
exactly. And then they also want to show you, hey, we are not bad. We have a good intention. But if you're
Mhm.
already in fear, you cannot see that. You're just,
Yeah,
oh my God, total in
yeah,
panic, high adrenaline. Nothing works anymore. Freeze
yeah,
modus.
for sure. Absolutely. Ah, they pick up on ours, or do we pick up on theirs? I think they pick up on ours.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Good
definitely.
question, Faye. Thank you. I'm glad you asked. Alexandra, you have your hand raised. You want to unmute yourself if you can? No? Okay. So, oh, there you go. Hello.
Yes, hi. Okay. I had both. I had the phone going, I called in, and I had this going.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, I love your poster behind, or a painting behind you. It's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. I'm assuming you're talking to me. Yeah.
Um, so I have two dogs, and I have one that is a totally my soulmate little girl, a Cocker Spaniel named Coco Chanel, and she's a little angel, and she's white and gorgeous. But then, and we're totally in a flow, and I went to the shelter. I never go to the shelter. I had a husky that was getting sick, and the doctor told me that she was not going to live very long. So I didn't want to be alone, and I went to the shelter. I just got out of bed one day. I'm going to the shelter, and I found her, and she was just a little puppy, and there was apparently a waiting list, like a draw. They're gonna do a raffle drawing of who's gonna win the dog, and had to stay there for the 7 days, which is the law in Los Angeles. They have to keep the dog in case somebody shows up to claim the dog. So anyway, I went back the day the raffle was gonna start, and I was way early, and I practically slept at the door. But anyway, I went in and I pulled a ticket, and others pulled a ticket. And when they said the number, I didn't even look at my ticket. I just gave him my ticket. I knew that that was my dog.
Oh.
I love her so much. And she's 10. And Martina, can you look into her body if she's okay everywhere? And
what's her name, Alexandra? Coco Chanel?
Yeah.
Coco Chanel, she's gorgeous. She's a little like a English Cocker Spaniel, has the most beautiful face.
Cute.
And she's gonna be 10 years old this summer. And I was wondering if you could like go look her through her whole body, if she's okay, or she's on my illnesses.
So do you have illnesses yourself, Alexandra?
Yes, I have I gotta go to my third colon surgery because I had like just about precancerous polyps and stuff. And
so you want to see if Coco Chanel took anything on from you.
I have to go back to another surgery, and I have a
got it,
knee issue and a liver issue, and yeah, to see if she has anything of my stuff.
All right, let's see what Martina says.
No, I'm not sensing that. I'm really not sensing that. The only message that I get, I don't know if you still vaccinate her. If you do, please consider to stop. If it's not mandatory, stop any vaccination.
Oh, I don't vaccinate. No.
Oh, wonderful. So just this information came in. Other than that, I'm sensing she's really in a healthy condition.
Oh, good.
No.
Her eyes, she's got a cataract, is she?
Yeah, a little decline of vision, but I mean, that's not really relevant for a dog. I could work on that. So if you consider get one of the packages with the remote healing, I'm sure we can correct a lot of that. But I mean, really vision is not the most important thing for dogs. They are nose bound, and the ears are okay. So hearing ability is good. Have you trained her on listening to you? Or on visual signs?
Oh, no, we're telepathic. Whatever I'm thinking.
Wonderful.
That's great.
That's the
But
best.
she's in good shape, Alexandra. Yeah. Coco Chanel is in good shape.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. I have another one. I have a big golden retriever, and he's very big and sheds like crazy. and I
They
adopted
do
him.
that.
I adopted him
Okay,
from.
so Alexandra, we can't take too many questions because we have to get going, but do you just want, like, you know?
Okay, this big
Great.
dog, I used to babysit, and I used to get paid for it, and he was such a pain in the ass. I mean, the only reason I did it because I got paid. But then when he was 2 years old, the people that owned it got so sick of it, and the wife said that if either the dog goes or she goes, and they gave me the dog because he was such a pain in the ass. And now they called me like as a gunshot thing, wedding thing, like, do you want the dog because we're getting rid of the dog? And I didn't know what to say or do. And I said sure, and it was here in 20 minutes. So
Oh, wow.
such a bully, and I totally hate this dog. But
Oh my goodness, and you shouldn't have him if you hate him.
I mean, he's a bully, and he pushes me around, and I already fell 3 times because he's always behind my back, and I can't see when I turn around. And he's got like a really bullying personality, and he reminds me of, like, you know, when you bullied in a relationship, like a husband. He's totally like that, like a bullying boyfriend or husband.
All right, let's see what Martina has to say really quickly.
Well, very quickly, I mean, the opinion that you have on that dog is very clear. So he's just reacting to what you feel about him. It's just a reflection of your emotions, of your feelings towards him. He knows that you reject him, that you call him a pain in the ass, and this is exactly what he represents.
Yeah.
That's very clear. So you have to make a conscious decision. And in that case, the best decision would to look for a different place where somebody loves and appreciates that dog. It doesn't make sense to force yourself to keep that animal, and that doesn't make sense. That the dog deserves something different here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Alexandra.
So much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I can't even imagine, you know, it's like we had Jake before, you know, when I was married to my ex-husband, we had Jake, and he was also a great dog. He was bigger, but he was a great dog. He was so protective and so kind, and the kids loved him, and he loved the kids. I can't imagine. And so when he passed away, oh, I was so mad. My husband didn't even tell me, you know, he didn't even tell me. And I found out like months later. I was like, I was so upset. It's like, how could you not tell me? Anyways, you know, I was like, because he was part of the family, you know. Again, he was like another child, you know, for us, except he was like, I don't know, older than the kids, you know, kind of thing. But he just still felt like another child. All right, really quick, Mystic, go ahead, unmute yourself. Mystic always has wonderful questions or stuff. Mystic, hello. Yeah, there you go. Hello. Are you there? No. Yes. No. Maybe so. So go ahead and unmute yourself, Mystic. Maybe your mic is not working. Oh, trying to. Yeah, you did it once, but then it didn't work. Weird. So in the meantime, I've put the link to the special offer packages in the chat. So Mystic, I'll come back to you, okay? After we talk about the packages and etc. So again, the packages are available at alara.at/show/Martina3. And this is all about working with your pets, you know, building that strong soul bond with your pets. So Martina, you want to talk a little bit about some of the package? Hopefully I did it right.
Yeah, that's maybe a good idea. What comes with the package is a wonderful parent guidebook that gives you tons of information to interpret your animal's body language, assist you in caring for them in a natural way, natural medication that support a long life, and will even strengthen your bond. Talking behavioral issues, you will find a lot of tips and tricks what you can do. So that's a wonderful gift in itself. Then I have created a recording about separation anxiety. And this MP3 recording will help your animal feel safe and reduce the fear of abandonment. I mean, please, please, please try to be with your animals as much as possible, but sometimes that may be helpful.
Yeah.
And then this recording steps in, and you can play it on a loop when you leave the house. And there is my voice together with a certain frequency that I've added to provide comfort, and that will help them settle down until you return. Or you can even use it when you have some visitors, some guests where the dog may be uncomfortable with. That will also help with that one. Then I have one that helps with pain so that they can deal with pain. Especially for older pets, but also younger pets when coming out of surgery, having some injuries, and it will just help ease the pain and the stress that the animals is going through, and also your stress. Again, when you are stressed, animal will be more stressed. Play that one as much as needed, so you can put it on a loop, you can let it run all night. It doesn't matter, all self-regulating. Then I have one that supports any surgery. Um, that means you play the recording before a planned surgery. You can do that earliest 7 days before. Latest is actually when you are in the car sitting, driving towards the vet. In an emergency case, it will still work. Don't play it during the surgery, just upfront. What it does, it activates all detoxing organs in it to be able to deal with the anesthetica and all the antibiotics and whatever they will give, to have everything running on the best level possible. So whenever I did that recording and played that for animals, they all went through surgery without any issues, even older animals. So no worries. That is really, really powerful. But again, not playing during the surgery, before, and you can start playing it again after the surgery to further activate the detoxing organs. Then for those of you that want to welcome a new family member, there is one, welcome home, reducing stress for the new family member. Um, it does what it says. So when your animal arrives at your house, it's so excited. So the entire life just shifted from being, I mean, at the shelter or from the breeder, and now anything is totally different. And this recording helps them to settle down and to feel comfortable in this new place, and how to treat your animal and what you should do. This is again in the ebook, how to make that an easy journey for all of you, because it's also exciting for the humans in that case.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I have detoxing, especially for dogs. I mean, they are exposed to toxins of all kind, permanently with their nose on the ground. And so that makes sense to keep track on some detox. And yeah, that will just benefit them to release and make sure that they are healthy and happy for a very long time.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So that's package A, and
Yes.
that's 147, and it has a 2 payment plan option as well. And then there's package B, which is everything in package A plus 3 weeks of remote healing for your pet, or a personal healing session for you with Martina, or like personal healing session.
Exactly. So you can choose. There comes a form for the remote healing that you please fill out with some details. If you have no access to some details, no worries. Just in case you have them, please fill it out, send it over, and I'll tune into the remote healing. And I will also get back to you on mail, telling you what's going on, what I'm working on. Or you choose the one-on-one session where we can do some animal communication, we can do some testings, whatever you prefer here.
Mhm.
So one of the
Awesome.
two choices.
Yeah, so one of the two choices plus package A. So that is package B. And then package C is everything in package A and B plus a personal healing session with you.
So
Right?
it's basically
Yeah.
package B plus includes the remote healing and the one-on-one session.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. So all three of those packages are available with the 2 payment plan option, and they're available at alara.at/show/Martina3. And the thing is, I was, gushing over Neo at the beginning, right? But that's how I am. It's like I can't imagine, like what I would do if there was something not well with him. It's like I would just like, oh my God, it's like he's my baby. Not literally my baby, but he's my baby, right?
Yeah.
And so I love him. He's like just the best. So, I would do whatever I had to do to make sure he was healthy, make sure he was happy, make sure he, was well. And like when he was throwing up for those couple of weeks, I was like stressed. I was stressed out, of course, because Robert was in the hospital and, Robert was in the hospital, and it's like, yeah, so I get it, it's like, oh, poor thing, so he was taking
Yeah.
on all of my stress, plus he was stressed out because Robert wasn't there, it's like, but he's all good now. Yeah, so whatever you need to do, because they're not just animals, they have souls, and they're your partners, and they're your family, and anyways, okay, cool, thank you. I know I could go on and on and on. And Mystic, you missed, I don't know if you were here before, but you missed Neo. He was sitting here lying on the table here. It was so cute. But then I know he got
so
too
we'll
hot.
have to watch the replay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so,
Very
I was
cute
like
of
gushing
them.
like crazy, like, yeah, my baby. Go ahead. You had a question for Martina?
Yes, it's I'll just ask it. A while back, a couple months ago. Hi, Martina.
Hi.
A couple months ago, I was tuning in to my horse who passed away in 2017, my beautiful Merlin. And all of a sudden I hear, and choking up, all of a sudden I hear, I was poisoned. Is that just my heart trying to let him go, or is that real? Was there a hand in his passing, or did he pass of natural causes?
It's an interesting thing. He was not poisoned in a way of somebody did poison him, but there were some poisonous substances that over the time put it harm onto him. So whatever, maybe it was some mold or fungal things in the hay or in the barn, or any pesticides or whatever, anything like that.
I get. Okay, good.
Maybe something in the water. I don't know where you live, but maybe you had fluoride in the water or chlorine in the water, anything like that.
Okay. As long as it wasn't a human.
No,
because it was very, very, very quick. Okay.
It added up over the time, and then it went very quickly, but it was not in that way human interfering.
Right. So no human meant to kill him, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Because my ego or my mind just went, oh my gosh, did she actually do that? Because he was boarded. So anyway, good stuff. What would be his message to me?
Trust. Trust is what comes through. Whatever you need to trust, I don't know, yourself or your path or what's going on in the outside. Trust.
That's a big one for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That really relieves my heart. So thank you. Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Mystic.
Thanks,
Thank you,
my
Caroline.
sweetie.
I can't call you Mystic. Your name is Caroline. I'm gonna call you Caroline. All right, good. I'm glad. I'm relieved for you as well. So good. Awesome. All right. So this was like, oh my goodness, such an informative conversation, informative call. so much wonderful information. So generally, Martina, if you can share with us, anything else that would help us to, bond with our pets with more ease, like, I think I'm pretty bonded, but like, what else can I do to make sure my baby Neo is happy?
You're actually doing it perfectly right. You just integrated him into the family. You're not separating him, and you're involving him in your daily life. And that's the most important thing. And at the end, the more easy you keep it, the more easy it will be. Don't overcomplicate it. Just be yourself, open your heart, allow them into your heart. And that's the trick. I mean, there is no difference to humans.
Yeah, true.
It's
Yeah,
just
he's a completely, it's in my heart. There's no question,
exactly.
he's
And
yeah.
and when you're open to them and open to the messages they have and to their needs, then
Yeah.
it all falls into place. There is no
Yeah. The only thing Neo ever wants to do is play or walk. That's it, play or
Yep.
walk. And then, he'll eat, but that's about it.
eat. I just wanted to mention, don't forget eat.
Don't forget eat. Yeah. And
Yep.
it's like, it was so cute. He was downstairs. He went to go drink some water, and it's like, okay, he's gone downstairs. Okay. And then he barked. It's like, okay, I'm coming. And I thought he meant, he was calling me so that he could go out. But he barked, and I said, okay, I'm coming. So I came down, and he's sitting there by his bowl because his water dish was empty. It's like, oh my God, I failed today. I didn't give him food at the right time. I didn't check his water dish, but he was like such a good boy. He just called me and sat there and waited until I came down, and I, refilled his water dish, and then he was good.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. They just tell you what's going on, and that's it. They're not complaining, and they're not angry for 1 hour, and
No.
they're just, hey, come on now.
Yeah,
This
mommy,
is what
my
you gotta do.
water. Mommy, I want to go out. Mommy, my food. Mommy, let's play. Mommy, that's all it is, all day long. That's all it
Exactly.
is. Play. Let's play now. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
So sometimes I will listen. It's like, yeah, you're right. I need to play. I've been too serious. I've been too this. Yeah, let's play. And so then
Yeah.
he's like so happy.
Yeah. It's always when you just think and say, well, yeah, let's go out. I mean, they have a very in terms of human life, a shorter lifespan, and we are, no, I have to work, I have to do this, I have to do that, instead of taking care of them, taking time, doing something, petting them, going out with them, playing with them, whatever it is, but just taking time together with our beloved pets. I had to say goodbye to 2 of them, and it was always, I spend a lot of time with them, but it was always, I could have spent a bit more time.
Yeah. That's it. I could have spent a bit more time. Yeah, absolutely. And so that's the thing. That's the message also I would like everyone to really take to heart. It's like, these pets, these animals, they are in your life for a reason. They're, and so they are part of your family. So treat them as family. They're not separate, maybe that was the case in the olden days, but nowadays that's not the way it is, and they're very sensitive. They're very sensitive, and all they want to do is love you. And all they want is love, love and attention.
But also know that even if you have this negative self-communication one day, and I should have done this, I should have done that, they will never complain about that. And that is the beauty. They are always okay with what is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no worries, no worries. It's all good. It's only a lesson for us humans to set priorities. And priority
and how can you
is,
be more kind with your animal, with your pet?
Yeah.
How can you spend more time with them? How can you pay more attention to them?
Exactly. I mean, the laundry can be done later. The car, you can wash the car later. You can do your shopping later. But maybe not petting your animal anymore. So just set some priorities and maybe shift your life to the positive. And at the end, it'll benefit you.
Yeah. And they are
because
such a
it's you
gift.
time.
They're
Yeah,
such a blessing. They're such a gift. See
Yeah.
that, really see that in your heart, what a blessing they are. You know, not a
Yeah.
chore, not a burden, but a blessing. Yeah.
absolutely.
Beautiful. Thank you. And again, those packages to work with Martina or to get the audios and etc. They're all available at alara.at/show/Martina3. You know, take this time, take this opportunity. Your pet deserves that attention. If they, you know, if there's something going on, you know, take that time, take this opportunity to give them that gift of attention, nurturing, you know, whatever they require, that love that they require. Yeah. Aw, Faye, that's so sweet. In Hebrew, a dog is called kelev, which means cow love, all heart and loyalty. Yeah,
Wonderful.
absolutely.
Thanks for sharing. That is wonderful.
That's beautiful, Faye. Thank you. All right, everyone. So thank you, thank you. Yeah, dog backwards is God. Absolutely. And you know, they are just so loving and caring. They have, you know, they truly unconditional love is what they share with us and show us all the time. You know,
Let's mention again the cats. I mean, there are some cat owners. Cats are wonderful as well, and we have 7 of them, wild living cats, but they're sometimes coming in and they're also wonderful and we love them to bits. So sorry, all other animal owners.
I know, right? It's like I'm a dog person, I'm not a cat person, but you know, it is what it is, right? It's just how I was raised, you know, and what I was brought up with in this lifetime. So, yeah, this was awesome. Cats carry us to Egypt. See, yeah,
That's true.
why not? All right, everyone. So thank you, Martina. This was awesome, beautiful, wonderful, so informative, and so very much needed. I didn't know I was going to have so much fun, you know, with this conversation. It was great. It was awesome, and thank you again for all of your support and your help. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you all for being on the call. And yeah, exciting, wonderful.
Exactly. Thank you. All right, everyone. So until next
Thank
time,
you.
it's Thursday. Woohoo! So you know, Thursday means I don't have a show on Friday normally. So woohoo! So until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. I'm gonna go play with my puppy, with my dog, because he's lying over there somewhere waiting for me, probably in my spot. That's okay, but he deserves some attention and some playtime, right? So yeah, thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you, Alara. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Shama.
All right. Have a good one. Love your baby.
Thanks. Bye. Yeah, thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.